A deeper dive into Absolute Femdom negotiation. This chapter in the series follows on from Negotiation Doesn't Mean What You Think It Means. You're listening to the Mistress Code. I'm RacyWilde. The distinction between relative and absolute femdom is not simply one of intensity or experience. It is philosophical. It reflects two divergent understandings of what negotiation is for. In relative dynamics, negotiation is a tool for co-authorship. It is the mutual design of a scene or a relationship based on the convergence of two people's desires. In absolute dynamics, negotiation is a vetting tool. It is used to determine compatibility with the dominator's existing structure, not to shape that structure itself. In relative femdom, the submissive is often invited to express not just his preferred activities, but his preferred domina. He outlines the version of dominant womanhood he finds arousing: strict, sensual, sadistic, maternal, indifferent, and then tells his partner what he wants from her or seeks in a domina who can or will embody that projection. If she agrees, they negotiate the limits, the aesthetic, and the emotional tone. Her power is real, but it is conditioned. The submissive chooses her because she matches his fantasy, his desires, and his want for that type of domina. And she accepts him because he respects her boundaries and fulfills some of her needs. This dynamic can be beautiful, intense, and transformative, but it is collaborative. The domina is not leading the narrative. She is co-writing it with the submissive. Co-authorship of a scene or a dynamic is not real domination submission, but DS roleplay. In absolute femdom, this paradigm is inverted. The dominator's vision is not a reaction to the submissive's desires. It is an established interior logic, a philosophy of domination already in place. When she invites a submissive to discuss the dynamic, it is not to gather preferences for adaptation, but to measure resonance. Can he serve her logic? Can he match her intensity? Can he relinquish the need for control, not just in action, but in authorship? This is why negotiation in absolute femdom is often less detailed in content, but far more rigorous in alignment. It is not about listing activities. It is about assessing the submissive's readiness to surrender not just his body, but his submissive framework. The domina does not ask, "What do you want me to do?" She asks, "Do you trust me to decide?" The negotiation then is not a script building session, but a test of devotion. This distinction mirrors deeper philosophical concepts. In relative femdom, the model is expressivist. The submissive expresses desire, and the domina engages in its enactment. In absolute femdom, the model is reconstructive. The submissive dissolves his existing framework in order to be reconstructed within her design. This is not just about fulfilling kink desires. It is about a whole epistemology. Relative femdom affirms what the submissive already knows. Absolute femdom invites him to unlearn it. This is why absolute femdom is not merely more intense. It is categorically different. It requires something that relative femdom doesn't need: a philosophical realignment of self, not toward pleasure, but toward the dominator's erotic truth. The next installment of this chapter will be preference as privilege.